At this point in the NBA season, every fan knows the LA Lakers are a complete dumpster fire and the jester of the NBA. And their latest debacle on the court came in a matchup versus the Boston Celtics, where late in the game LeBron James drove to the basket, was fouled, and there was no call. This non-call right here was one of the worst I've ever seen. It was a blatant foul by Tatum hitting LeBron's hand. And if that call was made, LA most likely wins that game in a big-time televised matchup. Now, getting past that, as a leader and as an NBA legend, there's two ways you can react to this. You can be pissed, rightfully so, yell at the refs, head to the bench, and get ready for OT and win those next 5 minutes. Or option 2, do what LeBron did, jump up and down, roll on the floor, strike a Tebow pose, head to the bench, sulk some more, then put a towel on your head in complete silence. For someone of LeBron James' stature, a Mount Rushmore NBA player who is 38 years old, this reaction was absolutely embarrassing. And as you guys know, anything LeBron James does is always compared to Michael Jordan. And in this moment, a lot of NBA fans said Michael Jordan would never do this. And while that is true, it is also true MJ in his career, he was ejected, he got texts, and complained a lot. And when it came to social media, a lot of fans brought up the evidence of Jordan complaining about awful calls from the 80s, 90s, and even 2000s. Now, with that being said, when it comes to Jordan, not once in his career did he roll on the floor for 5 minutes, make a fool of himself, and then lose in overtime. And actually for Jordan's career, there was one similar incident where a bad call could have sent MJ over the edge and ruined a great game and a great season. This moment was in the 98 Eastern Conference Finals versus the Pacers in Game 4 with Chicago up 2-1. Now to set the stage, late in this game the Bulls were up by 1 point until Reggie Miller hit this iconic jump shot to give Indiana a late lead. And as I noticed on this play, Reggie Miller absolutely shoves Jordan out of the way and there was no foul call. And unlike LeBron James in this playoff game, Michael Jordan didn't overreact, go ballistic, and pout and whine for close to a minute. And compared to LeBron's situation, Jordan in this situation should have been more outraged given it was a playoff game in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, after losing Game 4 in a nail-biter, Jordan the next game would come back and finish strong, having 29 points on 60% shooting and winning by 19 points. And looking at the final 3 games of that series, MJ was classic MJ, averaging 30.7 points, 7.0 boards, 4.7 assists on 49, 38, and 77 splits. Looking at his best teammate in those 3 games, we had Scottie Pippen, averaging 19 points on 39% shooting, and Dennis Rodman only averaged 3 points on 36% shooting and was benched the final 3 games of the series. And to add even more context, at this point Jordan, he was 35, Chicago was the oldest team in the league, and by beating Indiana, he made a 6 finals in 8 years, where he would go on to win the championship. The overall point of bringing this up is to once again contrast Jordan versus LeBron and how they handle adversity. And once again for Jordan, that shove by Reggie was 10 times more egregious than the foul by Tatum. And when it comes to the overall Lakers team, I'm sorry, I'm tired of the excuses. As you had Darvin Ham heavily implying this one game has derailed their season, when in reality, LA has been garbage the entire year, and this one play does not impact 81 other games. And one more point I do want to make, when it comes to NBA superstars, in any era, they have always complained. But looking at 2023, the complaining is getting way out of hand, from guys like LeBron James, James Harden, especially Luka, and even someone like Anthony Davis. And one clip I did see that went kind of viral was a referee talking to Jordan in his Wizard years about a foul call and overturning it.
Hit to the toe. Michael, I didn't see 2 hands on it, Michael. But I believe you.
You did.
But I believe you. I only saw the 1 hand on it.
Now, looking at this clip with no context, it seems pretty bad and like the referees were favoring Jordan. But in reality, this was Jordan's last ever game in the NBA, That ref was clearly joking and the foul was not overturned in favor of Jordan. Comparing that clip of Jordan on the Wizards to LeBron James throwing a tantrum is like comparing apples to coconuts, and it's once again a case of LeBron James fans making a false equivalency. And speaking of Jordan on the Wizards, those last couple years are highly underrated in my personal opinion, and despite not much team success, Jordan individually was still pretty good at age 38, 39, and even 40. And compared to LeBron James, despite the gaudy stats averaging 30, when it comes down to it, winning basketball games is all that matters. And Jordan in Washington at age 38 simply won more, as the Wizards went 37-45, were the 9th seed, and in today's NBA would have been in a play-in tournament. And looking at Washington when Jordan played, their record was actually better, going 30-30, which would have been on pace to grab the 8th seed. And looking at the overall stats and numbers, Jordan that year led his team in scoring, assists, and steals, with his teammate help being pretty lackluster. And compared to LeBron James, with his help in LA, the last 2 seasons have been inexcusable, with Anthony Davis, Westbrook, Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Lonnie Walker, Malik Monk, and even Rondo. Despite all that teammate help and Hall of Fame talent, LeBron still is on pace to miss the playoffs for 2 straight years. And as it stands right now, they are currently 13th in the West and one of the top 5 worst teams in the entire NBA. And going full circle with this video, looking at Jordan back in '98 with that awful no call versus the Pacers, that did not stop him from winning the series and winning the championship. And like I showed you guys, on the court, there was no pouting, no tantrum, and no crying for close to a minute. And I do find it pretty ironic after that dumpster fire performance, LeBron in the next game is sitting out and not playing, something Jordan at age 39 never did, playing all 82 games in 2003. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.